Hello, fellow Factorians. Welcome back to my Pyanodons challenge run. Today is going to be a big episode because we're going to tackle simple circuits. During the last episode, I had been doing some prep work for that. I set up acetylene and zinc. Zinc started working as soon as I got the electronics tech, and I started collecting up quite a few zinc plates. And acetylene has a minor problem, but does work. I just need to fix one thing at the top of the episode. During the hands-off time this time, I cleaned up a few pathways that had been bothering my base, and then started a little bit of simple decoration just to mark out which are my main thoroughfares. And I don't have the decorations tech unlocked yet. I didn't feel like I should do that while I still had some core technologies I wanted to get to, but I will soon, so I'll be doing more decorations then. I think during this episode I'm going to focus on doing the builds because there's going to be a lot of them, and then toward the end I will walk through and explain them all, and then check that they're working, maybe go into hands-off times and keep talking, because pushing all of this out in a single hour is going to be a challenge, especially if I try and talk through each of them during that hour. So with that said, I will get you to the main episode. See you there. So yeah, I'm going to do a quick fix up north for the acetylene build. Really, it's a problem with the prioritization of carbon dioxide. As you can see, I added a little bit of stone lining to mark out with which paths reconnect. I've sometimes wandered down paths that I thought, oh, well, this will get me in there, and then I have to kind of walk across some dirt, which is slow. As you can see, like, carbon dioxide here is super full because I had thought I put a configurable valve in at the right place, but I put it up here, and then the actual pump is forcing the carbon dioxide to be 100% down there. So I'm going to trigger hands-on time. I'm going to be very judicious about how to use this, and start working. I'm going to fix this and then get back to you. So the first build I need to do is creating saline water. Saline water is going to consume some of my very precious stone and some water and turn it into saline water. So I need to just find a spot where I want to put that. And it's a relatively small build. I did blueprint it, but it's not particularly... Yeah, I will just jam it in here. Why not? Okay. So I'm going to build that and be right back. Okay, so that's done. I could have used the stone that I'm making in the bootstrap base for this, but that's kind of unreliable stone, so I decided to use the stone from the science build. I'm going to need to improve stone production back there anyway, so might as well. So this is where I think I will lay out my simple circuits build. It is compact but complicated. By the way, I don't need these steam engines anymore. The steam power at the main base is sufficient for that. And this steam goes back to the science base anyway. So here's my simple circuit build. It looks tiny, like, compared to some of the builds that I've built, but it is the most complicated thing that I've built so far. And I will work on explaining it when I get to it later, but for now, it's so complicated looking, partially because there's just so many ingredients coming in. I'll show you in YAFC in a sec. And partially just because I like doing direct insertion, and this is a way to maximize the direct insertion. So yeah, I guess that will be fine. Okay, I'm not going to build this yet. I just kind of wanted to know where I was going to put it. All right, time to get organizing some other stuff. I need to get creosote and liquid gas up here. So liquid glass up here. So I'm going to do that as well. Maybe I need a better way to route fluids across here at the bottom. Okay, yeah, I'll figure that out. But yeah, be back in a little bit once I've sorted that out. Okay, that's creosote routed to my base. Partially, I had to build a little bit more tar processing of anthracene to creosote to make sure that I had enough. Now I need to deal with liquid glass. The thing is, I'm out of configurable valves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disable these guys unless the glass furnaces have a buffer inside of them. I'm just going to like read the insides of some of these glass furnaces. And if they start filling up, then I know I can take glass out of the pipes, because the pipes must be even more full. But yeah, let's and then I will take some of the liquid glass out of the system for use in my bootstrap base. So yet more pipe running. Sometimes I feel like this game just turns you into a plumber. All right, I'll be back. All right, that's all the external stuff. I think I'm going to move this planter's box build. It served its purpose. It was very useful, but I need this space to run pipes through. I will give you some of these to make more. You're full. You have, oh, that's enough. All right, so the next step is to lay out some alien life stuff. One of the things about simple circuits is it's kind of like this dungeon that you, it's like the first dungeon that's really pretty complicated and forces you to backtrack if you are not prepared by bootstrapping things like moondrops and sap. But at the end is a big treasure. Well, at the end, plus a couple of technologies, is a big treasure, because you can get splitters, which is, like incredibly valuable, and also fluid handling, which I really want, and I think I might push ahead of the blueprint shotgun. In fact, I will probably also push ahead the splitters, so I can live without blueprint shotgun for a while. Oh yeah, let's do that. Okay, need to plan where I want to put some of these builds. These actually are less location sensitive than many others, since they're not producing very much. This I want to kind of be here, because I can get iron and copper coming in from the bottom. lead and tin coming in from the top, and it kind of makes sense for me at least. All right, so I'm going to lay out these builds and be back once I'm building them. Okay, that is production of methane up here, which uses moondrops, and production of sap, which just uses sap extractors. The methane is produced by turning the moondrop seeds in another moondrop building and carbon dioxide into methane. I don't think you should use that methane as fuel ever. It is power positive, but it is like just kind of an expensive UPS-wise recipe to do that. I guess, if you don't care about UPS, that you could certainly do that, though. All right, let's move this back here, I guess. Give it a little space. And then I'm going to start filling in the pieces of this, bringing in the necessary pipes and ingredients, and then there's one more build that needs to be set up, but I'm going to set that one up at the end. Be right back after I start putting this together. And in particular, I need to put this together before the ahead of time, because one of the buildings in here needs part of the process to run to be able to be built. So I'm going to do that now. See you in a bit. Okay, it's all built now. I just have to hook up a huge number of fluids and pipes and lines of materials. That's going to take just as long as it did to set it up. This episode's definitely going to run over, I think, but that's okay. So I'm going to start hooking this up, try and get the left side working first, because I need the printed circuit substrates to build the chip shooter that kind of is at the heart of this build. So yeah, let me go work on this, and again, I will be right back. Okay, yeah, that took a while, and I'm not done yet, but I got the enough stuff for the left half and shoved in a few extra, like, materials in there. I just need to hook up my new combined copper and iron line, and that side of the build will be working. Started refactoring little bits and pieces of my starter base here too that I saw problems with, which probably isn't the best idea while I'm in the middle of a very complex build, but you know, sometimes you just see something and you want to go fix it. So, you know, like I was fixing the fact that my overflow from iron oxide production was insufficiently early in the conveyor belt to address it. But that said, hopefully with this stuff hooked up, the PCB substrates will start getting made. I think that's going to be ready, and I need to go figure out what's going on with my science because, yeah, it's dropped dramatically, and I don't want to end the episode with me frantically trying to fix it. So I'm going to run off and figure out what's going on there, but and let you know when I know what's going on. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so as usual, rocks are not being made, or bricks. Looks like I do not have pitch. Wait. This is bottlenecked. Why? Well, you're not reading contents, so that's not good. I guess I didn't set some of these buildings to read contents. Also, it's has way less of a buffer than I expected, so I just need to decrease this number. And that should fix it. Okay, hopefully that will start unjamming itself. It might take some time as the fluids need to burn up first. So I'm going to go back to work and hopefully it will right itself. I'll be back. So next I'm going to put together a, there we go, a copper zinc battery build. I think I'll just put it down here because I've got copper and zinc coming down here. And yeah, should be easy to push this up back to the simple circuits build. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back after I've finished it. Back in a bit. Okay, I have enough PCB, printed circuit board substrates, to make the chip shooter, which slots in right here and makes simple circuits. And if everything is going right, which I imagine it's not, I haven't gotten the zinc and lead coming down here quite yet, so definitely won't go yet, but I'll give it some of the stuff that I have been carrying. That all comes together. Where's my, yeah, that's got the vacuum being fed. Formica is one of the slowest bits. And I need a steel chest to contain all my glorious bounty here. And I also need to get the batteries. The batteries are not hooked quite up yet. Yeah, these also need zinc. The zinc is, I mean, the tin is coming. It's coming right now. So going to fix the batteries, and that should be the last bit to get this working, and then I need to go see what's going on with science again. So back in a bit after I've done that. Alright, batteries have lit off and are starting to move. I just need to stick this belt in. And cellulose is being made and processed, so that's good. Okay, science is starting to catch up, so I'm going to check the science build. I have a feeling I know what the issue is, and it's mostly a problem of the so when I start the science going in after it's kind of broken, there's going to be like a backlog of iron that has to come out of iron processing before the stone starts making its way in again. And until that is going, it's not going to be able to reach full rate. Looks like things are good again, though, because the bricks are flowing pretty well, but I can put a few bricks from my bootstrap base into these boxes to force the system to speed up again. And by doing that, I not only void these bricks that I really don't need over there anymore, but get the iron processing chugging along again. And then, of course, it has to make its way all the way to the science construction. So I might still have a few minutes to kind of like look over my base, verify that things are going as I expect, hopefully, because there's a lot of stuff. And then I'll go into hands-off mode and talk you through what was done to get this this going. I think I might set up a little bit of zinc smelting here because I need to anyway. Okay, I'm going to do that, and I'll be back shortly. So, simple circuits are kicking along, but science has not caught up yet, and I suspect that I can help the situation by making it so that when there's a way for the excess pitch to start being useful faster, I'm gonna add a second copy of the jaw crushing / high furnace, high pressure furnacing of stone to make bricks purely from pitch. That'll give the a way for like these situations where the base kind of like jams up on pitch to vent itself, and also I'm just going to need it in the future anyway, so might as well do it now. And I'll be back after that is done. Alright, so I put in one of those. It's helping, but it's not helping enough, so I'm going to put in a second one of those. So yet again, I'll be back. Okay, at this point, I think I've done enough, and I'm going to take the risk to go into hands-off mode. I want to talk through the builds that I've created, so I'm going to do that in hands-off mode, but as you can see, I've already piled up an extra hour of hands-off time, so yeah, let's go in hands-off mode. Hopefully this stabilizes. If not, I guess I will take the L. But I don't know what else to do. I think it really is just the pitch needs to the backlogs need to work themselves out. And in the future, I might add a better system to kind of like have it kickstart itself. But for now, this is dwelling just barely above the limit, and we'll hope that this increases rather than decreases. Anyway, on to the builds. Let's start with the simplest one first because it's such a joy to look at. It's the sap production. Sap extractors, all you have to do is give them some sap trees, give them some power, and they will make you sap. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. They're very slow, but they're super reliable. Just arrange them. They even extract the sap themselves, so you don't need an extra inserter to pull them out. How joyous are they? This is not a good sign. That's going to cause problems in the future. Okay, well, I hit the button, so that it is what it is. Okay, the moondrops, or rather the methane build. Methane depends on feeding moondrop seeds and carbon dioxide into these moondrop greenhouses, and you make moondrops in the moondrop greenhouses as well and turn them into seeds here. The trick here is only that you need to make sure that you are not starving yourself of seeds to make methane when you need to make the moondrops themselves to make more seeds. There's a lot of ways to do that. I've chosen the most complicated version, which is reading the greenhouse to see that when it's backed up, and then making the methane then. Looks like I might not be getting enough carbon dioxide, which is probably because I'm making carbon dioxide here and then sending it out rather than kind of pulling some in. Now I've got a big new carbon dioxide demand here, so I might have to do some pipe work in the future. That said, I'm really okay if this build doesn't go full tilt. So yeah, that's fine. I showed you the saline water, so the last bit before we get to the simple circuits themselves is copper zinc batteries. What this does is it basically turns cellulose, zinc, and copper and saline water that we're producing from stones elsewhere, into these copper zinc batteries. The problem with the tricky bit here is just that cellulose spoils. Cellulose spoils into biocrud. I've already made some by accident because agar over here was spoiling into biocrud, so I turned off this build. But biocrud I cannot get rid of. Not for probably 100 hours until I get composters, and then I can compost them into biomass, I think. So I have to do everything I can not to let the cellulose spoil, and the cellulose spoils fairly quickly. It spoils in 10 minutes? Yeah, 10-minute decay time, which isn't not that long, especially when I'm going away for 3 hours. So if these ran and I did not have some way to control them, I would find a box full of biocrud here and just like that box would be sitting around forever. So I've done everything I could to make sure that I don't run into this situation. So what does that mean? These 3 high pressure furnaces that generate cellulose check the boxes here to make sure that I've got enough inputs to make sure that I can consume the cellulose. These inserters that are putting in wood to make the cellulose, they check that I have not had too much cellulose on the belt. If I've got too much cellulose on the belt, that also means that maybe something is wrong. These guys have spit out too many. These inserters stop putting inputs into the chest if I've got too many batteries buffered. So not enough inputs in the chest, these chests empty out, all of these shut off. Now, I've been talking about those 3 over here for a while. Why not this one? This one is my top-up high pressure furnaces. So you see the recipe calls for 5 cellulose. So the problem can form where, like, okay, I shut the system off, but this thing has 3 cellulose inside of it. Now it can't finish a battery. Now those 3 cellulose spoil, and now I've got 3 biocrud. It's not as big of a problem as, just continuously running it when I can't make batteries at all for some reason, which would make a lot more, but I don't want that. So what this one does is it reads the contents of the assembler and says, if you have you can run if you've got any cellulose in here. So the second I go to 0, this one doesn't run. So it will always, top up that last little bit to get it up to 5 and then stop. And then if these are not running, then the whole system is shut down and it's fine. Hopefully fine. Hopefully everything works here. Then let's go on to the main dungeon of complication up here. And this is especially complex because I've decided to go with this build where of the 7 ingredients that go into simple circuit boards, 6 of them are directly inserted from machines that are all around it. So you've got vacuum tubes. Vacuum tubes need a bunch of ingredients. They need a vacuum from this pressure pump they need graphite that is formed from coal from this high pressure furnace up here. You've got these high powered resistors that need coke, glass, and tin. This needs copper and glass and iron. So that's why I've got this glass furnace directly inserting into these guys. And in fact, the way I've kind of set it up is there's a coke/tin/lead side on the right, and there's a copper, iron, wood side on the left. So those ingredients are kind of coming in from the different directions, and then there's a few that are just kind of piped in willy-nilly, like here's the batteries coming in, here's the sap coming in. Let's see what else. Formica is, made from the formaldehyde, which is methane and copper, and is part of the printed circuit substrate recipe, which needs otherwise just copper and a vacuum, so that's pretty easy. Air core inductors, which is a recipe that I'm going to shift to down in my little bootstrap base area as well, because this is much cheaper on copper and uses no iron whatsoever. That's pretty simple. The ceramics for this air core inductor and for ceramic capacitors is made from clay, which is made from just steam, and I guess the steam is digging dirt up here and turning it into clay. I don't know. The graphite rods are just coke. Ceramic is coke plus clay. All this gets funneled into the chip shooter machine, which is going to put out a bunch of a lot of simple circuits for me. Oh, there's a little solder machine that is taking lead and tin. Wood is flowing through the base to power these assemblers. Let's see what else is here. Wood is being turned into raw fiber that is part of the Formica recipe. I have treated wood, which is creosote plus wood, and also is kind of like an energetic version of wood, and you can make small electric poles more cheaply out of it, but that's kind of just a side benefit. But that gets added to the Formica. Now you could say this build is kind of a mess. It kind of is, but I like it. It's nicely rectangular, kind of, for the number of different buildings in here. Also, I have pre-planned, knowing that in the future I'm going to want to put in a different battery for a better simple circuit recipe. So that's pretty easy because it's just coming in on a belt. I'm also going to change the way I do Formica in the deeper future, but that's pretty easy because it's on the edge, so I can just pump in the things that I need when I do that. But for a long time, this build is just going to sit here and make me way more simple circuits than I need at any point, and the only thing I really need to do is pull these down to the bootstrap base. So yeah, that's about it. Hopefully this will run. I do know that, obviously this is going to cause me problems in the future as my ash backs up. But, the steam here is mission critical for the clay, but not actually for the science base. Science is running again, so I feel pretty happy about this. Next time I'm going to get the copper processing going and improve my copper efficiency. That's good, both because it just gives me more copper, but that recipe will also give me some stone, which is fantastic. It'll also give me that excuse to refactor and fix my awful copper setup over here, which I would love to take apart. I am already digging through this patch here, so yeah, it'd be nice to fix that up. There are so many things that I want to improve in this base, but I'm in hands-on off time, so I'm going to probably just look at it and maybe make a few decorative changes, but otherwise hope that everything stabilizes, and I will see you next time.